This is the Power Break Podcast, number 027, an interview with longtime missionary Andrew Lamb. Hi, everyone. This is Bob Brubaker, and we're happy to bring you another interview podcast, a story of perseverance that we trust will encourage you to keep pressing on in the race of life. Today, I'm sharing with you an interview with Andrew Lamb, who has been a full-time missionary for over 30 years. And presently is really excited and energized in his role of helping pastors and missionaries and others around the world through the resources of Third Mill. Now, Andrew will tell you more, and we'll have the website on our show notes. But remember, the website is thirdmill.org, thirdmill.org. Well, let's get on with the interview with Andrew Lamb as we recorded it at the General Assembly of the Presbyterian Church in America in Dallas, Texas. We're here with Andrew Lamb, who is a missionary and who's been a missionary for quite some time. And I just want to talk about his perseverance in serving the Lord on the mission field. So, welcome, Andrew.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate being here.
Tell me how you first became a missionary.
Goodness, I grew up in a Christian home and with my grandparents mainly, and they had prayed to be missionaries, had trained to be missionaries to go to India, and then the mission board told them they couldn't go. So he was a pastor, but he instilled that in our hearts. And so I grew up with a long-time sense of God's calling, and I ended up going to the field after seminary.
Wow. So you graduated from what seminary?
I went to Reformed Theological Seminary in Jackson, Mississippi.
It's a good place. Now, your first call to the mission field, where did you go?
When I was at Columbia International studying missions in undergrad, I had a real heart for big cities. Everybody else wanted to go to reach that last Indian tribe. It was a Baptistic sort of school, and so they wanted to go see Jesus come back and all that. That was their theology. I was going, I need to have 1 million people. If I'm going to go sacrifice my life, I want it to be for 1 million. So big cities was my call, and Mexico City was the largest city in the world, depending on your opinion, but that was in Mexico, and so that's where we went for our first 10 years of ministry.
How long did it take you to learn the language?
I'm still learning English.
Okay. It's
still going?
Yeah, it's still going. Okay.
I worked on Spanish. I'm still working on it. I went to a language school for 9 months along the border, which was not a great place to go because they spoke Spanglish. But I'm just one of those crazy missionaries that talks, and if I make a mistake, well, God bless you, and we just keep going. So I was sharing the gospel one time, and the lady looked at me and goes, "I think you're using the wrong word," and I was like, that was painful. But I've never done anything too embarrassing in all of that. I'm constantly in my work now working on new languages. Spoke a little Russian this morning, which was scary. But anyway.
We'll get to that in a moment, but let's go back to your call on the mission field in Mexico City. Were there ever any times that you had to work through discouragement and wonder why we were here?
Oh, goodness. Sure. I mean, Mexico City was one of the most dangerous cities in the world then, and it still is now. Kidnapping was the second largest industry in Mexico City when we went there, so we were a little afraid for our kids. It was 32 million people, and so it was just hard. And so even when we were going down into Mexico City, everybody was saying, oh, got to be careful, even the police will rob you and things like that. So, yeah, we had a lot of discouragements from the get-go, but God always came along beside us. Just real quick, going into Mexico City the first time, we prayed that God would help us get there and provide for us. The day before we were getting to leave, we met another missionary that I'd known 10 years earlier. And I said, "Hey, Andy, what are you doing here?" And he said, "Andrew, I'm going down into Mexico tomorrow." And I said, "So are we." And so we ended up driving together, and God just provided for us, and we felt much safer. We thought God was doing it for us, and then about 6 hours into the journey, his car broke down, and we decided God was doing it for him.
Because you just happened to know how to fix the car.
We helped him. That's
okay.
For sure.
All right. So you went from Mexico City to where?
I was working for Mission to the World, which is the mission arm of the Presbyterian Church in America. And Mission to the World wanted us to help them develop partnerships between national church planners, missionary groups on the field, and U.S. churches. So I did that for the next 7 years. I traveled around the world. I'd set up partnerships, Russia, Sudan, South Africa, China, all sorts of partnerships I was involved with. And so I was the matchmaker.
Okay, so I've been told that whatever Andrew does, he just does it all out. Is that kind of your mentality?
I serve the king. It's not about me. I serve an emperor, and the emperor says go, and guess what? You do it if you're a follower. So I'm really into the kingdom of God, and I wouldn't waste my life doing anything else. I made more money in college than I spent starting a business. I know I could do well at all that kind of stuff, but I serve at the pleasure of the king, and that's what my life's about. So yes, I tend to get all in, and I'm a lead follower or get out of the way guy. So I will follow if you'll lead. I will lead if you will follow, or you need to get out of the way. I'm excited. I'm very into what is strategic. I want to use my life. Like I said, I went to the mission field saying I want to serve 1 million people. Now our goal is 100 million leaders. So it's got to be strategic, or I'm not spiritual enough to give my life for one person. I want to give it for a lot. Okay. And that's just the way I'm built.
Okay. Now, let's talk a little bit about what you're doing now, because you're now a missionary with Third Mill Ministries.
Right.
And so explain to us a little bit about that and what you're doing.
At Third Mill, we do biblical and theological training for the world for free. As a church planter for many years and a person who helped others set up church plants, you could find a place to go. There's need around the world. You could find the money. There are PCA people and other people in the church that are committed to supporting and give sacrificially. You could find people like Bob that will pray for you, and I appreciate that. But what we couldn't find is guys that were trained. And so strategically, I came to the point of saying, it's not us doing church planting. We've got to facilitate our national brothers around the world to be trained with Bible and theology to go do the work of the ministry. So that's what we do at Third Mill. We do 18 different languages right now. We're working on many more, but we do a 2-year program of Bible and theology for the world for free. You can look it up at thirdmill.org, the word third, then MILL.org, and see it. Different languages, all the platforms. So you can do it on a phone, you can do it audio only, you can do it online, you can do it offline, you can do it on a tablet, app, on TV, in a seminary, in a school. Our favorite, though, is church-based theological training, because I believe that to be a pastor, you need to be trained by pastors, people that are actually out there doing it. Mm-hmm. And so I don't want to know that you heard about how to pray. I want to know that you can pray. And I don't want to know that you've done evangelism once in a classroom. I want to see you go out and do evangelism. And I think the theological training needs to be tied to your church ministry. And so that's what we do. We have some 600,000 students around the world, some of them in schools, some of them online, some of them in this church-based training effort.
What is your actually work that you're doing for Third Mill?
I'm I have a title, Vice President of Global Opportunities. And that really means that we do distribution, but it's not just give them the content, but we are working with pastors and leaders and organizations and schools to say, how do you help train men for ministry and women in women's ministry roles to say they have the tools that they need, not just the head knowledge, but the awareness in their hearts and their hands to do that. So I lead a team that works on that, and we work through a lot of partners around the world. So if you know of someone that should be training leaders and we can serve them and work with them to help them, we do that for free around the world, and we're glad to do that.
Just on that note, what's been the most exciting story that you can come up with? I know that you come to our Presbytery meeting, you talk about your going over to the Congo or Tonga or whatever, and you're always traveling around the world, but I know that you have some good stories too, so just maybe share one with us.
Goodness, a lot. Today, I would say I met with a group that is working in Russia, and they are bringing in American pastors to do intensive studies, things like that. And when they realize that we can help them reach across the wide range of Russia in their Russia partnership, and if you're interested, call me, I'll connect you, but how they could train not just 10 guys, but they could train 500 guys for Russia. They could train 5,000. And the guy just got pumped and was like, okay, you can help me do that? And I said, absolutely. We can scale up to 5,000. We're doing 10,000 training with one church in China. So, yes, we want to see that happen. So, to me, that's the exciting, because it's not this wonderful story, but it's just a guy who goes, okay, I can do what God's called me to do, and I'm excited about that. I think another one just this past week, I met a guy, and he is Muslim background, but he's a believer. And I talked with, he just called me and said, hey, can I get training in Arabic? And I said, absolutely. And I connected him some partners, and just you could hear the tears in his voice as he realized he would have the tools to reach out into his community and once again do the work that God called him to do. And so when someone like Bob prays for a missionary, when someone like in a church supports a missionary or a national worker, when they're able to connect with us, the whole goal of everything we're doing is say, let's get the kingdom work done. And that's just exciting to me.
Well, this is a man who's been persevering in ministry since 1983, when he first went to the mission field. Andrew Lamb has been our guest. We thank you, Andrew, for joining us today and sharing a story of perseverance in the kingdom of God.
Thank you, Bob. And I just want you guys to find other people that can listen to these podcasts. Tell your friends, put it on Facebook, whatever. We need to share this as Bob tries to encourage you, and through that he encourages us. So thank you.
This has been the Power Break Podcast interview program with Andrew Lamb, longtime missionary and current worldwide representative of Third Mill, an organization which provides theological training and resources worldwide. For information, check out their website, thirdmill.org. You'll find the link in our show notes, too. Today's podcast is number 027. You'll find the show notes, books, the weekly Power Break blog, and more at bobbrubaker.com. Please leave a comment and a rating wherever you have downloaded the podcast, and please help us spread the word about the Power Break Podcast.